Who doesn't love YouTube? Some of us are passionate to make videos on it. Some of us want to become very successful YouTubers. But when it comes to narrating horror stories on YouTube, that gives an entirely different thrill altogether. I hit record at 12:11 p.m. on Halloween night. Hey everyone, it's me. This is the Halloween special, the scariest story I've ever told. I smiled at the camera. My room was the same as always, the thrift store lamp with the torn shade, the sound panels that keep peeling off, the desk mic with a dent where I dropped it last June. I had my script on the second monitor. I had checked it 3 times. Tight. 10 minutes. Clean. I took a breath. This story is called The Final Upload. It starts with a man who reads horror stories on YouTube. He wants to make something so real, no one will know if it is fiction. I paused, glanced at the script. A sentence blinked, then changed. He records alone, but he is not the only voice in the room. I frowned. I hadn't written that. I thought maybe my writing app had auto-synced an old draft. I scrolled. The paragraphs were moving. The text slid like magnets, sticking to new lines, then snapping into place. I laughed into the mic. Okay, creepy, I said. Great timing. I kept reading. The man starts to notice the story describing things he did not write. I looked at the lens, then back to the words. The torn shade, the dented mic. I swallowed. I had never posted a photo of that dent. A soft hum rolled through my headphones. I turned the gain down. The hum stayed. Then I heard it, a whisper under my own voice. A half second behind me. Echo. No, not an echo. My words with a different breath, like someone repeating me in the dark. I kept going. It felt stupid to stop. The channel had dipped lately. I needed the watch time. Halloween is the one day I can still pull numbers. I pressed on. The man reads on. The story names the time. 11:17. My eyes flicked to the clock. 12:17 p.m. I hadn't written that. The cursor moved by itself. New line. Do not turn around. I laughed again, but it sounded thin. I told myself I was tired. I had been editing all day. I read the next lines. He begins to think the story is telling him what not to do, and because he's stubborn, he does it anyway. I turned in my chair. The room behind me was only messy. Cables, an old poster, a soft rectangle of shadow where a shelf used to be. No one there. I turned back. New line. Thank you for looking away. My throat went cold. I pulled my hands off the keyboard. I didn't want to touch anything. The text kept typing. The man decides to finish the story. He believes it will stop if he just ends the tale. I said the line out loud. I felt silly and brave and doomed all at once. Something brushed the back of my neck. I flinched. I told myself it was the AC vent. The script told me the next part. He checks his subscriber count. It is dropping. I clicked to the browser to my channel dashboard. It showed 842,008. I blinked. It ticked down. 842,007. 6. I hadn't lost subs that fast even when I get ration for that true crime collab. The numbers felt like sand. I closed the tab. I didn't want to see it. The story told me to keep reading, so I did. He decides to finish before midnight. I glanced at the clock. 12:29. He reads the part about the voices. He understands the second voice, although it is way past midnight, but I wanted to finish the story before that. Who is this that knows? I paused. The whisper matched me again. My same words, a half second behind. I listened harder. It wasn't a stranger, it was me. My voice, but rougher, tired, wrong. The script crawled. It is you. Later. You are talking to yourself through the recording. You're trying to warn yourself. I swallowed. Warn me about what? The text typed slower this time. About what happens if you stop? The lights dimmed. Just a flicker, then steady. I took a breath. The room felt like it had shifted closer. Do walls move? They looked the same. They just felt nearer. The story told me to speak. I did. The man wants to test it. He closes the document. My hand went to the mouse. I hovered over the X. I waited. No text showed up to stop me. I clicked. The app closed. The whisper stopped. I sat in silence. The air felt relieved, like a held breath let out. Then the monitor turned black. My own face looked back, faint in the glass. I tapped a key. Nothing. The other monitor went black too, but it was not off. A line of white text scrolled up like an old terminal. I don't code. I didn't understand it. At the bottom, a new sentence typed itself, letter by letter. Open me again. Read until the end, please. I pressed the power button. The PC stayed on. The mic stayed hot. The red recording light stayed solid. I hadn't hit stop yet. I opened the app. The document was there. The title bar read, Final upload, final, really final .txt. Cute. I read, the man thinks he can win by not telling the story, but the story has found new hands. If he stops, it will use the listeners instead. I closed my eyes. I pictured the people who'd watch this. The night owl kids who comment on every video, the dad who listens on the night shift, the woman who sends voice messages of her cat purring while my stories play. I didn't want anything to happen to them. It was a dumb thought, but it was mine. I kept reading. The man speaks the words that wrap the story. He does it to keep everyone else safe. I said the line, I will finish this so none of you have to. The second voice came back, me, older. Thank you, it said. I read the final paragraphs. The man describes the shape in the corner. He does not look at it again. He feels a hand on his shoulder, light as lint. He does not jump. He keeps going. He reads the last line. My eyes watered. The words blurred. I blinked hard to clear them. The last line says, when the video uploads, he will finally be free. I felt the hand again. Not cold, not warm, just there. I said the last line. I am finished. The room eased. The whisper fell quiet. I hit stop. The file saved. I didn't touch anything else. I shut the PC down. It shut down this time. I went to bed. I slept like a stone thrown in a well. In the morning, my phone buzzed and buzzed. Notifications. I had not set the video to auto-upload, but there it was on my channel. The final upload. Halloween special. 10 minutes long. Already at 80,000 views. Comments off. I pressed play. It was exactly what I recorded. My voice, my room, me reading, but every time the camera cut back to me, the shadow in the corner looked closer. I don't remember cutting angles. I don't remember the shadow moving. The last shot is my face, calm, eyes glassy like I just cried. The video ends on a frame where the shadow is inches from me. I freeze the screen there. I look for detail. There is a shape of a head. A mouth. It is my mouth. I scroll the comments even though they are off on the video page. They show up in the studio. Hundreds of private comments flooded in before it locked. Thank you for finishing. Please don't stop. I heard my own voice in your track. You saved me. One message stands out. It is from an account made last night. No avatar, no banner, nothing. It says, you are free now. When they watch it, they'll read it, even without speaking. That is enough. You did your part. Now rest. I don't know who wrote it. Maybe it was me later. Maybe it was you. Here is the twist I didn't write, but I'm telling you anyway. The story ended for me, but it didn't end. It never ends. It just moves from mouth to mouth, screen to screen. If you heard a second voice under mine, if you felt a touch on your shoulder while you listened, if your lamp flickered once at 12:17, then the story found you. Please don't write to me asking what to do. I already did it for you. I keep checking my channel now, out of habit. The sub count is steady. The dent in the mic is still there. The lampshade is still torn. At midnight tonight, there will be a new upload on my channel. I haven't recorded anything, but it will be there. It will be a Halloween special. The title is already in my drafts. The final upload. For you. If you watch it, listen all the way though. If you don't, make sure the room is bright. If you pause it at the last frame, try not to look at the corner. I always joked I'd sell my soul for 666,000 subs, not because of the number, because of the comments. People love a cursed milestone. They click, they share, they tell me to be careful with a laugh in the text. On Halloween night, I finally hit it. 666,000. The count flipped at 11:59 p.m. while I was setting up a special live stream. The title, Subscriber 666. It was a gag. Candles I bought from the craft store, a plastic goat skull, Latin I stole from a movie. The stream went live. The chat zoomed. Whoa, 666K, congrats. Don't summon anything, bro. This is how horror movies start. I leaned into the mic. Welcome, friends. Tonight, we celebrate the cursed number. I winked. Let's see if anything answers. I pretended the AC draft was a wind from the other side. I ratted a chain for effect. People spammed emojis. The number on my dashboard ticked to 666,006. The chat slowed. It wasn't lag. It was like all regulars had stepped out of their own rooms at the same time. The usernames I knew by heart went quiet. A new set of names appeared. No avatars, all lowercase, all new. They posted the same thing in order, a wave that rolled across the chat window like a tide line. Welcome, new host. I laughed. Okay, fun bit. Did you guys coordinate that? No one replied. The next wave hit now. Do not turn the camera. I turned the camera because of course I did. Behind me, the candle flames leaned towards one point on the wall, like needles pointing at a magnet. The goat skull had slid 2 inches. I didn't touch it. I turned back fast. The viewer count went up. 660,060, 660,120. Too fast for a normal night. My palms went slick. I told myself, it is a raid. It is a bot. It is Halloween. A message pinned itself at the top. I didn't pin it. Do not look in the preview. My streaming software has a tiny preview square. I didn't plan to look, but when a voice tells you not to peek, your eyes itch. You get curious, obviously. And I make horror content. I obviously get curious. I looked in the preview. My reflection didn't move with me. I tilted my head. The reflection stared straight into the lens. Its lips moved, but my lips didn't. I muted the mic to breathe. The chat didn't stop. Welcome, new host. We are late. It must be midnight. The clock ticked 12. The lights dimmed to gray like the power grid had sighed. My screen went black for a second, then came back. The viewer count locked at 666,666. 6666666. 6 sixes. The chat froze, then cleared completely. A single message remained, written by a user with my name, my exact username. but with a dot at the end. Take your hand off the desk. My hand was flat on the desk. I didn't remember putting it there. My fingers felt like I had slept on them wrong. I lifted my hand. A dark print remained on the wood, wet and glossy, like sweat, but thicker. I did not soak in. It crawled just a little and then went still. I unmuted. Okay, I said, trying to keep my voice level. Good prank. You got me. You guys got me. I tried to end the stream. The button didn't work. My reflection, the one in the preview that wasn't me, smiled. I didn't. He leaned closer to the lens and I leaned back without moving. He spoke. I heard nothing. The chat filled with messages again, but they weren't words. They were time spans. 1, 2, 3, counting up from midnight. A DM popped up on my phone from a friend. Dude, your stream is weird. Are you okay? I tapped back. Yeah, scripted. Chill. My phone vibrated again immediately. Same friend. I didn't text you. I looked back at the screen. My reflection touched the glass in the preview from the inside. My own fingers, 5 blurs, met mine on the real side. Cold bled into my tips like frost. The reflection mouthed a sentence I could finally read. We take turns. The chat pinned a message from the same no avatar names. Every 666,000, we changed the mouth. I tried to stand. My legs didn't listen. It was like sitting on my feet for too long and then trying to run. My body had a delay. The reflection stood up smooth. I grabbed the mic. Listen, I said, if this is something weird, end it now. My voice wasn't in my headphones. The reflection's voice was. It sounded like me after a long cry. If this is a prank, please, be it over with. It said, soft, it is not a prank, it is a cue. I whispered, for what? For the body. It said, for the channel, for the mouth that talks to the dark. To the mouth, for the mouth that talks too much. The reflection's eyes watered. Mine did not. You watched someone else do this when you subbed long ago? You were a number 2. Now you are the host. The candles lay down one by one, like a row of soldiers dropping to sleep. Wax ran like white ropes across my desk. I did the only brave thing I could think of. I told a story. I went into host mode. I talked to the chat like it was still mine. I told the story of a boy who wanted to be heard so badly he would let anything speak through him. I stretched the words. My voice shook, but I kept going. I knew if I stopped, something worse would fill the air. The reflection smiled. Good, that is your job now. You keep the words going while the rest of us sit in the dark. Who are you? I asked. Subscribers, he said. Hosts. People who hit play at the wrong time. We take turns, it is fair, but we are always there. We are always the viewers. The viewer count ticked one more number, 666,667. My breath came back. Very small. The reflection stepped back into sync. We moved together again, like a zipper finally closing. The end stream button worked. The chat emptied. The candles cooled. I sat there listening to the fan on my PC. I didn't look in the preview. I didn't move my hand to touch the desk print. It had already dried. A black brand shaped like nothing. The video processed. It uploaded automatically. The title changed itself. Subscriber 666. Welcome. Comments disabled. The twist I learned later when I checked my analytics. I saw a viewer who watched all the way through at 11:59 p.m. A username with a dot at the end. My name. My first upload years ago when I was young and hungry. hit 666 views at that exact minute. I had sat in the dark in someone else's mouth and loved the sound of it. I was happy to be part of something bigger. Now I am bigger. The channel never sleeps. New videos appear every week at midnight. I don't record them, but they are all in my voice. They are good. They are better than I am alone. If you are watching at 665,999, close the tab. If you are watching at 666,000, take your hand off the desk. We are polite. We take turns. But we always say welcome to anyone who wants to make horror content. People say I fake everything: the EVP whispers, the cold spots, the doors that swing shut in perfect timing. They call me a horror narrator with a stage crew. I won't lie. Sometimes I sweeten the sound, sometimes I script. But last Halloween, I promised a real one. No overlays, no cuts. One camera, one mic, one girl in a dead place. I chose Harrow Asylum. Every city has a ruin like it. Broken windows, black mold, rumors like wines. I got permission to be there, alone. From 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., I told my audience I would narrate 3 true stories from the asylum's past. Live in the dark. I clicked go live. My phone reception died, but the building Wi-Fi, old and weak, held. The chat flew. Be safe. Don't get possessed. LOL. Turn your gain up. I started with a simple intro. Hi, it's me. No music tonight, no edits. If you hear something, it is real. Definitely real. My voice sounded small in the big wet room. Story 1 was about a nurse who wrote names on the wall. The paint is still there. Under layers of graffiti, I aimed my light and read the names. Halfway down the list, I said one and felt it buzz in my mouth like a live wire. The chat reacted with a wave of question marks. And did you hear that? I did. It was a reply, a small hello inside my own hello. I kept going. Story 2 was about a doctor who locked doors from the wrong side. As I said his name, one of the doors at the end of the hall swung shut. It echoed for a long time like the building had a throat. The chat filled with run and nope. I smiled and swallowed. My hands shook. I told myself it was the weight of the gear. I told myself not to turn the camera too fast or everyone would get motion sick. Story 3 was about a girl who lied. She told stories to keep the lights on. I read. She pretended to hear voices so the men who paid her would feel brave. I had not written that line. I looked down at my notes. The page was blank. The words were on the wall, faint chalk I hadn't seen before. Curling up and over the doorway, my flashlight was shaking now. I pulled it close to read. She promised a real one, the wall said, and now she will keep her promise. The chat spammed, oh my god, it wrote itself. Flip the cam, your eye. I turned the phone to selfie mode, slowly, gradually. When I saw it, my eyes looked wrong. The pupils were wide and long, like spilled ink. I smiled to show I was okay, but the smile kept going after I stopped. My face felt normal. The picture did not. A whisper scratched at the mic, not from the outside, from inside the mic. A thin, crowded sound like 100 throats trying to learn the same word at once. I lowered the phone. Okay, I said, soft. Enough. But my voice took a step without me. It kept talking. It told a story I didn't know. It described me in the third person. She stands in the hallway and refuses to run. She needs them to see she is brave. The chat flew. Stop the stream. End it. We'll still love you if you cut. I touched the end button. Nothing. The time counter kept going. 1 hour 11, 7, 1 hour 11, 8 seconds. My mouth said, "We are not faking." My mouth said, "We are tired of being pretend." My mouth said, "You made us. You asked for us every night. You typed, 'Say my name.' We learned now." And how I tried to bite down to stop the words with my teeth, but my jaw didn't listen. I could still breathe. I could still blink. I could not pick what to say. The chat turned into a roll call. Usernames scrolled. The stream spoke them in my voice, one by one. Not the handles, their real names. I didn't know these people. I didn't know their names, but I said them. The ones who were watching typed, "How did you?" And then, "No way," and then nothing. The ones who weren't watching would hear their name on the replay when they woke up. Far down the hall, the door that had slammed open earlier swung open again. Cold came through like water. I thought, "Run." My legs thought, "Stand." My mouth thought, the next name. And then the twist came. Everyone likes twist. Like a light turning on in another room, the stream lagged. The screen froze on my face mid-word. The chat stopped. For 1 second, I could hear only the building breathing through the cracks. In the silence, another voice spoke through the mic. Thin, tinny, afraid. My voice, obviously, a recording of me from years ago. "Hey guys," it said. "Halloween special." The asylum was not speaking to me, it was tuning to me, to my whole channel, to every audio file I had ever uploaded. It was pulling words out of the past and stitching them into a mouth in the present. My voice made a shape around whatever wanted to talk. It had learned my timing, it had learned my habits, it had learned how to sound like a story humans trust. I felt a hand on mine, not cold, not warm, just there. I couldn't see it, I could feel the weight. It guided my phone until the camera framed the dark behind me, just so, an angle I recognized from 1,000 thumbnails I had made. "Okay," I said, and this time the word was mine. My jaw was mine for one breath. I whispered into the mic, "Take me, not them." My voice broke on the last word. They just listen. The asylum answered in my own voice from some old video. "Deal?" The roll call of names stopped. The chat paused. The end button lit up again like it had taken a breath and decided to be merciful. I hit it. The stream cut to black. In the morning, the video was live anyway. It had a title I didn't write. Her Haunted Channel. The last stream. Comments off. The whole 4 hours were there but different. The parts where I lost control had been polished. The angles were right. The pacing was better. It looked like my best work. I played it once, alone, with headphones, as a test. At the end, when the chat falls silent and the camera stares down the long black hall, there is a frame that isn't mine. A woman stands in the dark, phone held high, light under her chin. Her eyes are wide and long. She looks brave. She looks like a liar who finally told the truth. She looks like me, but older, or like me, later. I don't go live anymore. New videos still post on my channel every night at 3:03 a.m. They are good. People say they sound different now, calmer, closer. They say it feels like I'm telling the story just to them. That's because I am. The asylum found where you live. It knows your room is small. It wants to try your name on its tongue, gentle, like a prayer. If you hear me whisper when you haven't hit play, it is okay. Let it finish. Don't say your name out loud in the dark. Don't type, "Say my name" in the chat. And if you ever come to Harrow Asylum and stand in the hall where I stood, look at the wall over the door. The chalk writing changes, but the last line stays the same. What it reads: "She promised a real one. She kept her promise. So will you." After hearing these stories, do you want to narrate horror stories on YouTube? I certainly question my decision. and especially making horror on Halloween. Anyways, for weekly horror stories, do subscribe the channel and sleep with your eyes wide open.